So today we will start the Smith chart. This is a graphical method to find out the reflection coefficient for a given line impedances, or if you know the reflection coefficient, you can find the line impedance, and also you can find the various parameter from this graph, that is the Smith chart, that is the maximum voltage, maximum current, and the point of open circuit, short circuit, or you can also find the standing wave ratios. So this is a very important tool, Smith chart, and is frequently used in the industry. So we will start with the basic concepts, and in this lecture we will try to understand what is the fundamental of this method, how it is developed, and then we will go to the how we can use this chart to find the different parameters. So these are the references where I have taken the concept and the figures. So you can go through these references. Now let's start with this complex Z plane. So if in general, the impedance, reflection coefficient are all complex. So let's understand the complex Z plane. What is the, if you want to plot the impedance, then how you can plot here in the complex. So it is simple with the basic concept. You have some, this is your, for example, impedance. This is the resistive value of this impedance, and this is the reactive value. So this is a point here. So this is imaginary line, and here you have the real part. So this distance will give you the, from here to here you will get the resistive component, from here to here you will get the reactive component. If this is positive, it means it is inductive. If this is negative, this sign is, for example, this sign instead of this, it is negative, then it will be a capacitive load. So here it is an example of capacitive load, and here you have the inductive load. Now, the complex Z plane, what you have, if you so resistance is fixed. If you have some uh, Z equals to uh, some 75 plus jx, then for different value of x, if it is fixed, it means all the uh, impedance will lie on this line. So this is a constant R line which is parallel to that. This value will remain fixed from here to here, but this will depend upon the x where you will put up. Similarly, this line is parallel to real axis, and here this is the constant x line. Here for a fixed value of x, for different value of r, you will get this line. So here this is a parallel vertical line with a constant resistance line, and this is a constant reactive line. Now for impedance, because resistance is generally we take positive, R is positive, so it means that when R is positive, so it will lie, the impedance will lie in this plane. In this plane, you will have the impedance. And for here, R is negative. So R is generally positive. So this region is called the invalid region, because no point will be plotted here in this region. You will see the negative resistance definitely in the future classes, but we will excluding that concept right now. So we are just assuming that R is positive in general case. In a special case, we will deal about the negative resistance also in the higher classes. So impedance, the resistive part is positive, so this is a valid region. So always you will have to have the impedance here in this part. Next, what is the issue with the complex Z plane? So if this some impedance is zero, for example, you have a transmission line and it is short circuited. These 2 points are connected. So you have, generally you put the load here ZL. Now if ZL equals to zero, it means it is a short circuited. So ZL equals zero means R is zero, X is zero. This will be the point here to represent the short circuit line, the impedance of a short circuit line. And similarly, if Z equals to Z naught, if this is the case, Z equals to Z naught, then because z is real for the lossless line, so we are talking about the lossless line. For lossless line, this is a, sorry, this line is a lossless line. So in that case, it will come to the real line because imaginary part is 0. So this point will lie somewhere in this point, depending upon the value of z naught. That is called the match load. Now, if z is infinite, it is a, that is means ZL is infinity, means that this load is very high or it is open circuited. So for open circuit ZL infinity, it means either the resistive component will be infinity or the reactive component go to the infinity, and both can go to the infinity. So anyone is infinite, it means ZLS is infinite. So this value will go to the point at the infinity. So we can't show this point on this complex Z plane. This is a limitation. So you can only view these 2 points here, but you can't represent Z equals to infinity on this complex plane at the region of viewing of this plane. So you have to show this arrow that you are going to infinity. So this is the limitation of complex Z plane. So the solution of this, to view the impedance in terms of the reflection coefficient. We know that the reflection coefficient and the line impedances are related in the transmission line. So what we know that Z as Z, the line impedance is given by Z naught 1 plus this 1 minus gamma z. This is the reflection coefficient and this is the line impedance at the given point, the transmission line. So you have a transmission line and you are connected with some load here. So due to this, there will be a reflection. So if at a particular value of z, the line impedance at this point and the reflection coefficient at this point are connected. So if you know the reflection coefficient, you can find the line impedance. Similarly, if you know the line impedance, you can find the reflection coefficient. In that case, the reflection coefficient will be given by ZZ over minus Z naught over ZZ plus Z naught. So these two are related to each other. So instead of viewing the line impedance directly on the complex Z plane, now we can convert this Z into the reflection coefficient, and then we can view this reflection coefficient on this plane. So this is already written here. So we are omitting the argument Z here. Just we are writing Z and writing gamma. So in this also case, this is the gamma. So this is the real part of this gamma. This is the imaginary part. So you can show in this coordinate system, real and imaginary. Similarly, you can go in the polar form. So this is the polar form. Before that, what do you have? So this is similarly to the constant R and X lines. Here also you have the constant real part line. So if you know the impedance with this reflection coefficient and the real part is constant, then this will, all the this reflection coefficient will come over to this line. Similarly, if the imaginary point reflection coefficient is constant, then it will be the line here. Now you can also view as a polar form. So this will be more fruitful for us because we are dealing with the constant reflection coefficient. Magnitude is constant, the reflection coefficient for the lossless line. So generally you will see it in the polar form. So this is a gamma. So this will be the magnitude of this reflection coefficient, this one, and here it will be the phase of this point. So similarly, for example, this is the deflection coefficient where the magnitude is 0.6 and phase is 3 pi by 4. So this angle is 3 pi by 4. Similarly, for this one, if you join here, this angle will be the, so this angle is 300 degree, or you can have a minus of this one, minus 60 degree, and this is the 0.7 the magnitude. So we show the reflection coefficient in terms of the magnitude and the phase. Now, for example, if the phase is constant, then for different value of magnitude, you will this the reflection coefficient will match to this constant straight line. As the magnitude is always positive, so it will it will start from this origin and move the so 0 to infinity it may go the magnitude. And similarly, if the magnitude is fixed, for example, magnitude is zero point 0.7 and phase is varies, so this will map to the this circle. So this circle is called the constant magnitude line, constant reflection coefficient magnitude, and this is straight line. This is straight line is called the constant phase line. So constant phase line will be the straight line, whereas constant magnitude will be the circles will be there. Okay. Now in this case also we know that the reflection coefficient, magnitude of the reflection coefficient is less than or equals to 1. So it means this value will lie from 0 to 1. So 0 to means 1. So if you have the constant magnitude, so the real values of the reflection coefficient, that is the practical values, will lie within this circle, and this radius is 1. So if this radius is 1, this line will be the magnitude where is less than 1, and this region is the where the magnitude is more than 1. So whenever you convert the line impedance, the reflection coefficient, all the points will map to this region. So this is the valid region in the complex Z plane, and this will be the invalid region. So we will not deal with the invalid region. We will only focus on the valid region where within this point where this magnitude is less than 1. Okay. Now mapping to similar case to the reflection coefficient. So when you have a short circuit line, so short circuit line when as ZL equals to 0, then gamma equals to 0 minus Z naught, 0 plus Z naught, it will be minus 1. And what is minus 1? Minus 1, the magnitude is 1. So this will lie on this circle whose radius is 1. And minus means it is 1 e to the power j pi. So phase is pi. So this angle from here to here, this will be the pi angle. So this will represent, this point will represent the short circuit line if the line impedance is short circuited. So this is the point for the short circuit line. Similarly, for ZL equals to infinity, then gamma is comes out to be 1 equals to 1, which is equals to e to the power 1 e to the power j0. So phase is 0, the value is 1, so this will lie here. This is 1. Similarly, if the load is matched, so matched load, what you have, Z is 0, Z naught minus Z naught over Z naught plus Z naught, you will get the 0 here. So this will be the match to this point here. So in this complex reflection coefficient plane, all the points are visible to this graph. Whereas in the complex Z plane, this point was not visible. Rather, it has moved to the infinity. So this graph has an edge as compared to the complex Z plane. So all the points will be visible within this circle or on this circle. So you have to remember these 3 points are very, very important. If the line is short circuited, this will lie on this point. If the line is open circuited, then it will be visible at this point. And if the transmission line is matched with the load, then this will be the case. The reflection coefficient will be 0 here. Okay. Now for in this case that this is 1 means this impedance is purely reactive. How? Because when this one is equals to 1, when you have formula here, Z equals to, so when this is here, so Z is reactive. So when you find this one here, magnitude will comes out to be magnitude will comes out to be 1. So you can put up here Z. We can just find here, for example, let me rub this one. So what is gamma? Gamma in this case will be jx. Let put x1 for because this is uh, for the line impedance minus z naught. Z naught is the real quantity. So let put up is the R2 for or R naught. So just rub this. Let this is R naught. Similarly, it will be Jx1 plus R naught. When you take the magnitude, magnitude will be the magnitude of this one divided by the magnitude of this one. In this case, magnitude of these two are equal. So magnitude of these two are equal. X1 square plus R naught square, X1, that will be 1. So magnitude, this implies that the magnitude will be 1. So magnitude, if the reflection coefficient magnitude is 1, it means your this Z is purely reactive. So for the reactive loads, this Z comes mapped to the reflection coefficient graph at this circles. So this any point on this circle will means that your impedance is reactive. There is no resistive component. There is no resistive component here. So that is what mean here at this point. This is called a purely reactive. Now we all see that reflection coefficient at z equals 0 is given by this is a reflection coefficient at this point. Here you have the reflection gamma L here. This is due to the load. So we instead of showing the ZL, we directly write giving the symbol gamma L. So then the gamma L is have the magnitude and the phase. So if you want to plot this one, so it will lie somewhere else. Yeah, so this will be the phi L and this is the magnitude. It will be less than 1. So this is a point on the graph of the complex reflection coefficient plane. Now if you want to find the reflection coefficient at another point like distance L or distance Z, then this is the formula to find this one. So gamma L equals to a to the power j2 beta Z. So for different value of Z, you can find the gamma Z once you know the gamma L. So here for the lossless lines, the transmission line is lossless, then this magnitude will remain constant, the phase will be added. These two will be multiplied here, the phase will be added here. So whatever you have phase, it will be multiplied this phase. So at a particular value of z, you have to multiply, add this phase. So for a given length L, what you do, because if this is a point, if we generally consider this is to be z equals to 0, so here now z equals to minus L. So you put z equals to minus L and then you can find the gamma z. So if you are moving in this direction, then your reflection coefficient will change and this will be uh, uh, find out using this expression. So on the line, the reflection coefficient will change. Now what you can say when this is again this is changed by 2 pi, then your phase will be repeated. It means if z is such a way, if z is we have already seen that if z is changed by lambda by 2. So if you move by lambda by 2 distance from here, this 2 beta z will change by 2 pi. It means with lambda by 2 if you move here, this phase will change and it will come back to its valid point. So whole circle will be completed by moving lambda by 2 distance here. So in this case, that gamma equals to z equals to 0 is this one. And then this is called the gamma in reflection. At this point of L, if you want to see the at this point, what is the input reflection coefficient. So this is same as the reflection coefficient at this point. So this will be here. So because L is negative, so now the phase is subtracted from phi L. So as you move toward this side, it means L is increased, the total phase will decrease. So if you are here, if this is the phase, initial phi L, and this is the point, so this is the point. So what will happen if you increase toward this side, you move this side because this is a load side, this is a load side, and this is called the source side because some signal is coming from the source or the generator side. So when you are moving from load to generator side, source side, L will increase. We have already put here L. So the resultant phase will decrease. So this point will move. Now the amplitude will remain same. This point will move in this direction. So this phase will decrease, and you are moving in the clockwise direction. Okay. So this is shown here. For example, if this is a constant magnitude of this reflection coefficient is 1. Now the load reflection coefficient will be given by here. It will have magnitude will be generally lesser than 1, and it has some phase. So now if you move the with the L distance here in the line, then you have to the magnitude remains constant, the phase will change and phase will decrease. Slowly it will decrease, and if further it move, you will reach at this point if you complete the L. So here the phase will become phi L minus 2 beta L. What is here? So it means this is a length L. If you move by length L, the phase you will reach at this point. Now, if you move by lambda, this is L is lambda by 2, then it will be 2 in 2 beta is 2 pi over lambda, and this will be lambda by 2. So lambda cancel, 2 will cancel. So this phase will be 2 pi. So phi L by 2 pi, again you will reach the same point. So you will get the same phase. The reflection coefficient will be repeated by lambda by 2 distance argument. For example, they have taken L equals to lambda by 8. So if a length is lambda by 8, means you are moving in this direction from load to generator in lambda by 8 distance. So when you put here lambda by 8, so now, for example, the line is short circuited. So what is saying this line is shorted here. They are directly shorted. So ZL equals to 0. So you are here when ZL is equals to 0. So it means the reflection coefficient is given by this expression, phase is pi. Now lambda by 8 when you move, so already we know that this whole circuit is lambda by 2. So this part will be lambda by 8. So if you reach here, that means you have elapsed the lambda by 4 distance, or you can directly use this formula. So if you are not unable to understand it, then you will directly put lambda by 8 and you will get this length will be equals to pi by 2. So 2 into 2 pi by lambda, and it is lambda by 8. So it will becomes up to pi by 2. So you have to move 90 degree from here to get the line impedance for this one. You will reach here. Okay. Similarly, if it is a short circuit and you move lambda by 4, then it will be acting as a open circuit. You will reach at this point because then the 2 pi beta L will be your pi. You are getting a pi here minus pi, and you will reach at this point here. So it is open circuit or short circuit point, and then you will reach the it means at lambda by 4 distance your lines will be opposite to the short circuit, will be open circuit. And we have already seen in the previous lectures that for the length equal lambda by 4, you move by lambda by 4, then your the z, this one in general for lambda by 4 line, so your z uh, is given, z equals to lambda by 4 is given by z naught square over zl. If zl is 0, you will get the infinite. So this validate the concept of this one. Now, if you are the input impedance at the beginning is known, if you know the input impedance, for example, the here load is connected, and we want to know what is the reflection coefficient. We don't know the load actually, but we know that at this point the what is the reflection coefficient at this point. So using this one we can move. If we move from here to here, the reflection coefficient change according to formula. Similarly, if you move from back from positive side, if you move this side, then what will have? The phase will increase as you move from the lambda. So at this point, the phase you can see that phi in was phi L minus 2 beta L. So now you can calculate this, sorry, yeah, they are using the theta. So theta L will be equals to this one expression. So it means when you increase length from this side, you are moving this side. So if you are, because that's why it's a positive. So if you are moving, increasing the length of this one, then if you are here at this point, then the phase will increase. So it will increase in this direction. So you have to move the counterclockwise direction. So let this input impedance have the reflection coefficient of this point. So this is 0.5, this phase is 60 degree. And then you increase the length. For example, if you take lambda by 8, so it will move 90 degree. So you have to move 90 degree from here on this line and you will reach. So this will become the gamma. So you can easily find the reflection coefficient at the load here. So once you know the the reflection coefficient at the this point at the input side, then you can find the reflection coefficient at the load. Or if you know the reflection coefficient at the load, you can find the reflection coefficient at this one. The vice versa, you have to move. So moving clockwise, it means you are moving in this direction, and anti-clockwise you are moving in this direction. In general, because the line impedance, it will depend upon the reflection coefficient, but also depend upon the Z naught. But Z, if the transmission line is fixed, once you have constructed the transmission line, then its Z naught will be constant. So if you do, for doing the analysis, if you divide the line impedance with the Z naught, that is called a normalizing. So generally, we will normalize the impedance by its characteristic impedance. So if it is a line impedance, you divide with the characteristic impedance, and that will call the normalized impedance. So same map, if your map is normalized, then you can use the same map, same graph for different type of transmission. Just you have to multiply with the Z naught. That's why we use a normalized instead of using a direct values. So this now real part of this load will become the normalized load, resistive load, and this is a normalized reactive part. Similarly, the now the reflection coefficient will be simple, just it will be comes out to be initially it was you have to divide subtract Z naught, but now you can have just a normalized load minus 1 divided by the normalized load plus 1. So these are the two expression we will be using here. So to convert between the normalized load and the reflection coefficient. The reflection coefficient remains same, but the formula will change. Yeah. Similarly, you can find this one, these two expressions. So this is a table to show what is mean here. If, for example, Z is infinite, then normalized load will be also infinity, and the reflection coefficient remains same. For infinite, it is 1, so it will remain 1. If it is 0, then normalized load will be also 0. And in this case, the reflection coefficient remains same. They will remain same. They will not change. Only normalized load will change. For Z naught, normalized will be 1. So it will give you the reflection coefficient to be 0 as earlier. For the reactive component, if you divide by Z naught, reactive component, special case, whether it is reactive, purely reactive, and it is value equals to Z naught, it will be J. And if you find the reflection coefficient, you will also get this one J here. They have used a J instead of I have taken this table from this source. You can see in the references. So it will have the pi by 2 phase. Sorry, it will have a J is pi by 2 and is minus pi by 2 and so on. You can see this one. Now plotting again here. So here the normalized load will be equals to 0. This will be again normalized load is 1. So if the normalized load is 1, this will map to this origin in the uh, this reflection coefficient plane, and for Z infinity you will have the same thing. Now Z equals to J, normalized load is J, it means is purely reactive, so we will on this circle. So when it is J, it means it is purely inductive. So this will point here, purely inductive part will be here, and this is the 90 degree, and here it will be the minus 90 degree. Now this is how you can view. Now if Z equals to, in first case, when Z is real, if the impedance is real, so the resist this normalized load will be given by R plus J0, so X is 0, so R this one, so where it will map. So when you find this reflection coefficient of this case, so here because R is real, minus 1, so this part will become real. So this will have only real component, there will be no imaginary component. So imaginary component will be 0. So when you map this one, this will the real value will depend upon this R. So it will be different value, but it will be real. So we are certain that this will lie on this axis because imaginary, this is an imaginary line. So all the point will lie on this axis. Every point will lie here, depending on the value of R. So this is the line where all the load are purely resistive. So this is a line where all the loads are purely line impedance is purely resistive, and this is a where line is purely inductive. Here, this case. Okay. So x equal to 0 means that imaginary part is 0, equivalent to this one. Now, if r equals to 0, we have already discussed here, if r equals to purely imaginary, then you have x over z naught, and this will be gx minus 1. So, what is the reflection coefficient? Depend upon also these two. But if you take the amplitude of this one, they will have the constant. So, it means the reflection coefficient will depend upon the x, but we are certain that the magnitude of this reflection coefficient will always be 1. The phase will depend upon the value of x. So by changing the value of value of x, you will get the different phase here. So r equals to 0 means you have the constant circle lines equals to 1. Now, in general, if both are present, we have seen that in this case, R is only the R is there, reactive component is 0. In this case, we have seen this R is 0, X is present. Now, if both are present, so how it will look like? How the points Z will be mapped to the component. This is slightly complex. You have to go through the derivations. I have rearranged. So we know that Z is given by 1 plus gamma or 1 minus gamma, and this is you open as r plus jx, you open the real part or imaginary part, and you rearrange this, you make this here to be uh, real. Just to multiply with this conjugate, you will get the here all point will become real. So when you simplify, you go through this one. So what you are getting are, you will equate, so this is the real part, this one, and similarly this one will be the imaginary part. So this is the real value will be equals to this one, and imaginary value of this uh, the normalized load is given by here. Now we will take one by one. First we will see that the real part of the load, normalized real part, how it will look like. So when you rearrange this one, so you are further go through these equations, and you will reach at this point. So what it is look like, you have to realize here. So you will see those here you have gamma r, the real part of the reflection coefficient, minus r01 plus r. So r is the normalized resistive load, resistive part here, and this gamma is the imaginary. So what it look like, this is a equation of circle. For example, x minus some x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square is equals to, let some, in this case, r1 whole square. So this is how you will see, this is the center of the circle, and here this is the radius. So this is the center. Here the center of this will be 0. Real part have center. This is the imaginary part. The y-axis will have the 0, and this is the radius. So you can see here in this equation. So this is a equation of circle, and whose center is this one, this point, and center is 0. So which means center will lie on this line gamma r. So this is maybe center here depending upon the r. So center will change as the r is changed. Second, the radius is also 1 over 1 plus r. The radius will also change as a circle's radius will change. The different value of r, we have different circles. So we have this concentric circles, and uh, they are touching here. So for example, if you change, this is a circle where you have r equals to 3. They have plotted here. So center will become, if r equals to 3, so you can 3 over 1 plus 3, 3 over 4. So you can have the 3 over 4. So you will lie something here. Center will lie something 3 over this point, 3 over 4, and here the radius is 1 over 4. So you can find here. So radius will be 1/4. Okay. So this part is, this value is 0.25. So this will, you plot this radius. Similarly, if you increase the value of r, if you decrease the value of r, what will happen? Decrease the radius will increase. So if your R is increased, then radius will be of the circle will decrease. If you decrease the R, then radius will increase. So here we are decreasing the R. The resistive load is 3, this is 1, so the radius will increase and so on here. So in this case, when radius, this resistive part is 1, so when is 1, the radius will be half. So this will be center and you will have this point will be half. And similarly, the center will be, this will be 1 over 1 plus 1, this will be again half. Center will be here and radius will be same. So you can go through this one. So when R equals to 0, when R is exactly 0, then what will happen? The origin of the center will be axis, this axis, and the radius will be 1. The radius will be 1. So this is the R region, where now this will be the gamma equals to, magnitude is equals to 1 line. So because R is here, now these region, we already know this is an invalid region, and we find that this is only for the R equal to -3, and we are not concerned about the negative resistance. So just we are focusing from R is from 0 to 0 to positive values. So we are within this one. So if R is more than 0, it is positive. This all circles will lie within this region. So they will lie within this region. So they are concentric circles. Okay. Now, second, we focus on the next part, X reactive component part. So this is also a equation of circle. So equation of circle. So what do you have? The centers are 1 and 1 over x, and radius is 1 over x square. So this is also a circles whose center are 1 over 1 over x and radius is 1. Now, if you increase the x again, the radius will decrease. If you decrease the x, the radius will increase. And here the center will also change. So now this center is at gamma r equals to 1. So this is not 0. So they will not lie on this axis, rather that will lie on this line which is parallel to, because this is a line gamma equals to 1. So this distance is 1 and the center will move on this line. So because this real part is remains same, so we are able to know this is the line where gamma, this one equals to 1 constant line. Now if this will change, so this part will move here. So center will move along this line and radius will change according to this one x. So if x is infinite, then radius will be 0. So this first point or very high value of reactive component you will have here. Then once you decrease the x, now circle will start. So for example, if x equals to 3, here you have the circle and radius will be 1 over 3 and the point will be 1 over 3 here. Here this is 1 over 3. So this is the point. Similarly, if x equals to 2, the radius will be half and the center will be also half. So you will be here and whatever center will be radius. So if you are here, this will become the radius. If for this one, what will be the center? It will be, this part will be the radius from here to here. So as you go decreasing the x, circles will become larger and larger. Radius will become larger. So if you make x equals to 0, so we already know when the x equals to 0, this should map to this line. And we can also say when x is 0, radius will become infinite. So almost this circle will have the infinite radius. So what you can say, the circles will approximately cross this line, move along this line. So this line is a purely resistive line. This is a mapping to the, this reflection coefficient is mapping to the point where the x is 0, the x is 0. So it is also validated from here also. So when this radius is 0, sorry, this x is 0, so you have the here. So again it will match here. Now because we are only concerned about within this region, this is the region where all the we have the valid point. So we will not focus on the whole circle, rather we will only focus the arc of these circles. So these arcs are important to us, not the whole circles. So these are the arcs. Now here what we show this arc. So this is x equals to 5, x equals to 2, x equals to 1, x equal to half. So this on this circle only we are plotting this arc only. So we have arcs for the reactive component and already we have circles within this for the resistive component. So we are only shown the reactive part, that is the R's to show the reactive component. So now if we combine these two, then this chart will become the Smith chart. This is the basic fundamental of the Smith chart. In the Smith chart, the plane is the reflection coefficient. You have this one, and now directly we show the normalized load on this line. So we can just use the R circles or the other circles for a fixed value of R normalized resistive component. And the second family of X arcs. So this is the arc of the circles for constant value of X. So the portion of a circle are shown that. So now we will only focus inside the circle whose gamma magnitude of gamma is equals to 1. So this become a tool called the Smith chart, and this is very useful. And with this tool, with this chart, do we can calculate different parameters and we can understand this. So circles are called the constant resistance circle, and this react arcs are called the constant reactance circles or arcs. So rather, these are called the arcs. So what, for example, what it means then, okay, if you know the Z, if you know the normalized impedance, that is the R plus JX, so directly we can, without converting to the formula, using the formula, either you can use a formula, mathematical formula to convert into the reflection coefficient, or directly with using this technique, you just find the R just and find the X, and you can find the point where these two are intersection. The circle R circles and the S are where they are intersecting. That is the point of the normalized load. For example, if you have R equals to zero point 0.5, if you have R equals to zero point 0.5, so if you have some normalized load, here we have shown normalized load with R equal to zero point 0.5 and X equals to 1, so it will plus J1. This is a normalized line impedance. So here we first find the circles with zero point 0.5. So this is the point, 0.5. There is a circle for the R equal to zero point 0.5. And here reactive is X equal to 1. This is the arc here. They are intersecting this point here. So we just find uh, this is the point of this value. Now this is here because this the domain is the gamma domain or the reflection coefficient. So by just measuring this amplitude here, you will get the equivalent its magnitude, and you can find the phase. Once you know this point, this is the equivalent point, mapped point of this impedance. So by directly measuring this length, this will give you the magnitude and phase. Once then you can directly write this is a magnitude, and you have the phase here. So you can directly compute from the chart what is the phase and what is the magnitude measuring from here. So in practically, really, the we have the Smith chart here. So we have this circles. So you have these arcs are there, you have arcs are there, and you have circles are there, and everything is written here on this, okay, which circles have this value. So they have plotted this arc and circles, and they have marked the values, okay, which circle have the which values, or the which arc have the reactive component. And you have also here the phases are plotted, this is angles are plotted, which angle 0 0, then so on, then this is 0.5. And you will see this is also here we have in this also we can, because you know that when you move lambda by 2, this will elapse the whole phase, this will move to the 2 pi. So it means if you mark lambda directly, so if you move here, you can have a lambda. So here this, if this is 0, then you will have a lambda by 8, lambda by 8. This will be lambda by 4, and this will be again uh, it will be uh, 3 lambda by 8, and so on, and this will be again lambda by 2. So they have also plotted in terms of lambda length. So you can also write here in the term of lambda and the phases. So all you can give here. So this Smith chart is used to find the line impedance, reflection coefficient, maximum voltage, maximum current, and so on. Because as they repeat a half wavelength, so this will be sufficient, that if lambda by 2 length is sufficient. And you notice that magnitude, the reflection coefficient for the lossless lines and SWR do not change. So Smith chart generally used to find gamma line impedance. If similarly, you can also use the line admittance. Both are related. So if you take the invert of this admittance, we will also see how we can find the admittance from here for a given and at any distance from the load or generator. If you know the distance, you can find this one. So first you find the load. For example, you have this point here and you find the length, and according you move on this circle and get this point, and there you can again find the reflection coefficient and so on. So Smith charts provide a normalized impedance so that it can be used for any transmission line. So I stop it here. These are basic fundamental of a Smith chart. Now on the next class, we will see how we can use the Smith chart to find out the different values from here. You can exploit how you can exploit the Smith chart.